Do you believe there are still places in the world where just $1,000 a month is enough not only to get by, but to enjoy a lifestyle that many Americans would need 3 or 4 times as much money to afford? What surprised me most while researching this list was that one country offers housing costs up to 15 times cheaper than the United States, while another lets you travel across the city for just a few cents. After comparing housing, food, transportation, quality of life, and natural beauty, today on J30 World Discovery, I narrowed it down to 10 countries that I personally think are among the best options if you want to live comfortably without constantly worrying about money. And make sure you stay until the end, because the country ranked number 1 genuinely shocked me with just how much quality of life $1,000 a month can buy. Number 10. Nepal. When most people think of Nepal, they immediately picture the towering Himalayas or world-famous trekking routes. What doesn't get talked about nearly enough is that Nepal is also one of the most affordable countries in Asia. Based on what I found, you can live quite comfortably here on a little over $500 per month. A typical meal costs around $2, and even dining at what would be considered an upscale restaurant usually runs only about $5. If you prefer cooking at home, a month's worth of groceries can often cost less than $50. Transportation is even more impressive. Local bus rides are typically just over 20 cents, while short taxi rides often cost only a few cents more. The biggest surprise to me was housing. A decent apartment in a good part of town can cost as little as $140 per month. Even after adding utilities, healthcare, and other everyday expenses, it would be difficult to spend more than $1,000 monthly. If you enjoy a simple lifestyle, peaceful surroundings, and easy access to nature, Nepal is definitely worth considering. Number 9. Bolivia. Bolivia is one of those countries that more people are beginning to discover, not just because of its unique indigenous culture, but also because of its remarkably affordable lifestyle. With a little over $500 per month, you can live comfortably without sacrificing much in terms of quality of life. A local meal often costs around $2, while a full family-style restaurant meal with multiple dishes and a salad bar can be as little as $12. Even a bottle of locally produced wine may cost only around $3. Housing is another major advantage. A one-bedroom apartment in a desirable area is often available for under $300 per month. If you want something larger, such as a 3-bedroom apartment or condo in a more upscale neighborhood, prices generally range between $600 and $800. Combined with low transportation costs and affordable everyday services, Bolivia is the kind of place where $1,000 a month can still feel surprisingly generous. Number 8. Indonesia. If there's one country on this list that feels like a year-round vacation destination, it would probably be Indonesia. It's the 4th most populous country in the world, yet the average cost of living remains under $500 per month. Compared to major cities like New York or London, living here can be roughly 60% cheaper. Even when compared to neighboring Singapore, one of the wealthiest countries in the region, Indonesia's living costs are often about half as much. One of the best things about Indonesia is the food. From bustling street vendors to local restaurants, you can enjoy delicious meals for less than $2. If you prefer cooking at home, monthly grocery expenses often stay below $50. Then, there are the stunning beaches of Bali and Lombok, places that offer a luxury resort atmosphere at a fraction of what you'd pay in destinations like Hawaii. Transportation is incredibly affordable as well, with bus rides costing around 36 cents and taxis usually charging less than 50 cents per kilometer. A one-bedroom apartment in a major city can often be rented for under $300 per month. In my opinion, Indonesia is one of the few places where $1,000 a month can genuinely feel like an extended vacation lifestyle. If you find this place fascinating, be sure to subscribe to the channel and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Number 7. Vietnam. I've always felt that Vietnam doesn't get nearly as much attention as it deserves from many foreigners, When you look at the value you receive for the money you spend, it's easily one of the most attractive destinations in Asia. The country offers beautiful beaches, vibrant cities, world-famous cuisine, and a cost of living that remains surprisingly affordable. Depending on the location, many people can live comfortably on around $500 per month, while even in more expensive cities like Ho Chi Minh City, average monthly expenses are often around $865. What I love about Vietnam is that you don't have to sacrifice quality of life to save money. For roughly $400 per month, you can rent a modern one-bedroom apartment with Western-style amenities. Transportation costs for an entire month are often around $60, while utilities and basic services typically total about $70. Even if you spend as much as $300 each month enjoying both local and international cuisine, your overall expenses would still be significantly lower than in many major U.S. cities. That's one reason why more and more expats are choosing Vietnam as a long-term home. Number 6. Peru. When people hear Peru, they often think of Machu Picchu or adventurous trips through South America. What surprised me even more, however, was just how affordable everyday life can be here. On average, a little over $500 per month is enough to live comfortably, and if your budget is closer to $1,000, life in Peru can be far more enjoyable than most people would expect. A one-bedroom apartment in the city center typically costs around $360 per month, while a spacious three-bedroom apartment often remains under $700. Dining out is another major advantage, with many restaurants serving meals for as little as $3, while a full three-course dinner usually costs around $10. If you cook at home, monthly grocery expenses are often under $50. Public transportation is extremely affordable too, with many trips costing around 38 cents and monthly transit passes averaging about $15. After covering rent, utilities, and other essentials, you'll likely still have plenty of room in your budget to enjoy life and explore this colorful and fascinating country. Number 5. Malaysia. Malaysia is one of those rare countries that strikes an excellent balance between low living costs and a high quality of life. It's no coincidence that more and more foreigners are choosing to move here or retire here. In fact, the Malaysian government has introduced several programs specifically designed to encourage long-term foreign residents. Average living expenses, excluding rent, are often under $500 per month. If you need a one-bedroom apartment, rental prices commonly range between $300 and $500. Monthly transportation costs are usually under $50, while basic healthcare expenses can be less than $30 per month. What makes Malaysia stand out isn't just affordability. It's also the modern infrastructure, relatively advanced standard of living, and large international community. If you're looking for a place that feels modern without carrying a massive price tag, Malaysia is definitely a country worth paying attention to. Number 4. Mexico. To be honest, Mexico is probably the country on this list that would surprise the most Americans. Most people know it as a popular vacation destination, but not everyone realizes it's also one of the best places to live if your goal is to dramatically reduce your cost of living. Today, thousands of American retirees have chosen to relocate to Mexico because they've discovered that the same amount of money can provide a much more comfortable lifestyle there. Average living expenses are often under $745 per month. Housing is usually the biggest expense, but even then, it's possible to find a quality apartment for around $375 per month. If you're a food lover, there's even more good news. About $300 a month is enough to enjoy a wide variety of authentic Mexican cuisine. Transportation is incredibly affordable as well, with total monthly commuting costs often around just $20. Considering everything Mexico offers, from its climate and culture to its stunning landscapes, I completely understand why so many visitors end up staying long after their first trip. Number 3. Costa Rica. If you've ever dreamed of living near the ocean, surrounded by lush tropical nature, without spending a fortune, Costa Rica might be exactly what you're looking for. This Central American nation is famous for its rainforests, breathtaking beaches, and relaxed lifestyle known as Pura Vida. a philosophy centered on enjoying life in the simplest and happiest way possible. One statistic that really caught my attention is that housing costs here are roughly 64% lower than in the United States. A fully furnished two-bedroom apartment can often be rented for around $400 per month. Utilities and basic services typically add less than $50 monthly. Grocery costs are also significantly lower, with many items priced up to 50% below US levels, meaning about $200 a month is usually enough for comfortable food expenses. If you don't own a car, transportation costs can be as low as $40 per month. This is one of the rare places where a $1,000 monthly budget can still feel surprisingly close to living in a tropical paradise. Number 2. Argentina. Before researching this list, I honestly had no idea just how attractive Argentina could be. As the second largest country in South America, it offers spectacular landscapes, European-style cities, and a relaxed way of life. But what truly surprised me was the affordability. The cost of living in Argentina is typically 50% to 60% lower than in the United States. Many restaurants offer complete meal packages, including an appetizer, main course, and drink for around $8. If you enjoy cooking, you can often fill an entire grocery bag at a local market for less than $20. Transportation is equally affordable, with bus rides usually costing between 25 and 50 cents, while taxi fares often remain under $1 per mile. But the number that made me double-check my research several times was housing. While a 3-bedroom apartment in the center of a major U.S. city can easily cost around $6,000 per month, a similar apartment in Argentina often rents for under $400. Yes, that's roughly 15 times cheaper. That fact alone is enough to make Argentina one of the most compelling destinations on this list. Number 1. Cambodia. And finally, the country that surprised me more than any other while putting together this list, Cambodia. Most Americans probably wouldn't immediately think of Cambodia when searching for an affordable place to live long-term. But once you look at the numbers, the story becomes much more interesting. Average living costs here are typically around $800 per month, and with a budget of $1,000, you can live extremely comfortably, especially in the capital city of Phnom Penh. A well-equipped apartment often costs only about $300 per month, far less than what you would pay in most major Western cities. While dining costs can be slightly higher than in some of the other countries on this list, with a decent restaurant meal averaging around $11. Those expenses are balanced out by affordable transportation and reasonably priced services. What I find particularly interesting is how welcoming Cambodia has become toward foreigners. Because tourism plays such an important role in the economy, many expats find it easier to settle in and adapt than they originally expected. If someone asked me which country was the biggest surprise on this list, Cambodia would absolutely be my answer. Very few people would guess that just $1,000 a month could provide such a comfortable lifestyle. So, which country would you choose if you had the opportunity to live abroad on a budget of just $1,000 per month? Personally, I'd have a hard time deciding between Argentina, with its incredibly affordable housing, and Indonesia, where every day feels like a permanent vacation. But everyone's choice will be different depending on the climate, culture, and lifestyle they value most. Let me know your pick in the comments below. And if you enjoy discovering fascinating facts about countries around the world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.